It's been a great few years for comic book fans, as Marvel's movies continue to get bigger and better, while the DCEU finds fresh ways of bringing new characters to the screen. We've all seen the fan art of what a Marvel vs. DC movie could look like, but a crossover might not be too far away. Although it might not be a cinematic adventure, a recent Thor story seems to suggest the Marvel and DC universes will join forces in the future. It wouldn't be the first time the two publishers have crossed paths, with the DC vs. Marvel comic miniseries pitting heroes against each other. It even created the Amalgam comics, combining the characters together to form some incredible new heroes and villains. Most fans instantly talk about Darkclaw, made up of Wolverine and Batman, but our favorite is Spider-Boy, combined from Spider-Man and Superboy. Sure, it wasn't the most insightful series, but it was great to see the new character designs. Although we don't expect to see more combos of our favorite superheroes, a few new announcements point towards another Marvel-DC crossover. Let's take a look. The start of 2020 brought us a new Thor series from a fan-favorite comic writer, Donny Cates, with an all-new take on the God of Thunder. But the second issue shocked fans with its surprising crossover with the DC Universe. In 3 pages, Cates wiped out Marvel's distinguished competition with a terrifying new threat, the Black Winter. The intimidating pages clearly showed the Justice League racing to defend their world, only to be plunged into darkness. The captions even teased Darkseid's involvement with a stone-faced avatar. The issue directly called the villain their Omega, the one who is. This references the iconic line, Darkseid is, coined by writer Grant Morrison and later resurfaced in Tom King's Mr. Miracle. Whatever the Black Winter actually is, it's clearly capable of wiping out entire universes with great speed. The art showing the civilians in the DC universe disintegrating even calls back to the dramatic finale of Avengers Infinity War. Thor is seemingly the only one standing in between this new threat and the Marvel Universe. But a short moment from the end of DC's Doomsday Clock in 2019 also teased that Superman would go head-to-head with Thor. The book also teased Hulk will die defending the Man of Steel. It even called the event Secret Crisis, referencing the 2 main event titles from both publishers. So it's not clear how the fight could happen if the DC universe was already wiped out in Thor number 2. But remember, this is comics. Anything is possible. For a little more context on our theory, earlier this year a conversation took over comics Twitter about how a modern Marvel-DC crossover could happen. Writers and artists from a variety of publishers called for a huge event to help revitalize the industry after many shops were financially crippled by the shutdown. Legendary writer Gail Simone suggested a Vision and Mr. Miracle book written by Tom King, or Superman and Spider-Man teaming up under Brian Michael Bendis. The hashtag #PleaseSaveMarvelDC began trending on Twitter, with fans and pros alike calling for the crossover. Ideas like X-Men and the Justice League, or Captain Marvel and Shazam were floated by creatives like Tom Taylor and Mitch Gerrits. Basically, there's such a huge scope for a modern crossover, it could be something really special. Cut to the present. Image Comics announces a dramatic new series from Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw called Crossover. Arriving in November 2020, the story looks at what happens if a typical comic event became so powerful that it crashed into the real world. The preview of the book showed off the devastating consequences superhero battles would have in our reality. The description for the book teases the scale of the series. Okay, time to do my announcer voice. What if a comic book summer event generated so much energy, broke down so many barriers, and upended so many expectations that the sheer critical mass of the moment blew open a portal into our world? Imagine if everything you thought was fantasy was real. Now, join us on an epic quest through a world where reality is dead and anything is possible. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but it does seem a little coincidental. Did all those Twitter conversations lead to this? Even if the series isn't a joint DC and Marvel event, it sounds like the story will break a few lines in the multiverse. Could it be the key to kickstarting a battle between the two? Only time will tell, or maybe we're just being too optimistic. The final piece of our wild comics conspiracy theory comes from a new event DC just announced. It's called Endless Winter, which sounds just as ominous as Marvel's Black Winter in the ongoing Thor series. Now, some fans speculated the new event could involve the Endless from Neil Gaiman's Sandman series. Others thought it might revolve around the body-swapping villain literally called Endless Winter. It seems more likely the teaser suggested an icy setting in the future though, because the villain hasn't been a huge character. Fans online were quick to joke that the series should never have a final issue. But what if it's endless because it's an eternal threat like Marvel's Black Winter? DC's Endless Winter arrives in December this year, so it's just a waiting game for now. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, and Donny Cates' crossover has nothing to do with Endless Winter, but it all seems too coincidental. Maybe after the weirdness of 2020, we're just hoping for something to be excited about once again. If we're wrong, then at least we still get 2 brand new comic events to look forward to. But while we wait to see if a Marvel-DC crossover is coming our way, tell us in the comments which characters you'd like to see team up or fight. Do you think it should be Shazam and Captain Marvel? Spider-Man and Superman, or something else entirely? Make sure to keep an eye on Heroic Hollywood for all the latest entertainment news, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.